Welcome to Bird Camp Radio, where the coveys rise from the high pines, marsh valleys, sagebrush seas, and the shelf rock ledges. Here at camp, the fire's always glowing, the dogs are never far, and the stories of birds, wild places, and the upland life are just beginning. This is Bird Camp Radio. Before we get into today's episode, I want to thank a company Rachel and I personally trust, Pet Commute. We have worked with them several times ourselves, and I can tell you firsthand, they are reliable, safe, punctual, and they give frequent transport updates. That peace of mind matters, especially when it's your dog. If you're a breeder, buyer, trainer, running field dog trials, traveling to a hunt, or honestly just need to get a pet somewhere safely, Pet Commute is a perfect fit for bird dog folks. They offer free transportation quotes, and make sure to mention Bird Camp Radio to get 10% off your pet's travel. Check the link in the show notes, our social media bios, or the comments. I highly recommend them. Welcome back, everyone, to the Bird Camp Radio podcast. I'm your host, Kellen Golightly, and we're excited to be here once again for our 29th episode with Travis Spring from Texas. A little bit earlier, Travis sent in his bio, and I'm going to read that for us real quick. Travis Spring is a passionate upland hunter who enjoys talking birds just as much as chasing them, especially when it comes to the current landscape of upland populations, whether it's swapping stories or diving into how bird numbers and conditions are shaping the season. He's always up for a good conversation around upland hunting. Alongside his wife, Travis started an upland guide service with his experience, building it into 3 successful years of growth through hard work and a shared commitment to the lifestyle. He's part of the Jo Kreed Outdoors and Andrews, Texas-based outdoor brand rooted in upland bird hunting, bird dogs, and the wide open landscapes of West Texas. Travis, we're excited to have you on, man. How are you doing today?
Doing good. What an introduction, man. You gassing me up there. I like it.
Hey, we try to do our best, build
Yes,
some
sir.
confidence. I mean, you got one heck of a bio, so we're excited to be able to talk to you today and get to know you a little bit more and why you choose the upland game tradition. So this is
Yeah,
going to be fun.
absolutely, man. I'm excited.
Well, before we dive into it, as many of you guys know, we like to play a quick game of rapid fire around the campfire. For the ones that are new to the podcast, this consists of 10 questions related to the upland game world. Each one of these questions can be answered with a single word. It is
Okay.
timed, and so the faster you are, the faster you sit on the leaderboard. The guy before in episode 28,
Oh,
um,
okay.
he turned and burned. He put up third place. So
Very nice.
so here we go.
All right.
So if you don't have any questions, we'll get started.
Let's roll, man.
We All right. Favorite bird to hunt.
Blue quail.
Favorite shotgun gauge.
20 gauge over under.
Morning or evening hunts.
Evening hunts.
Favorite dog breed.
Black lab.
Game bag or vest.
Vest.
Favorite state to hunt.
Kansas.
Solo hunt or with a group.
With a group.
Public or private land.
Public.
Dog's name.
Sadie.
Limit or memories.
Memories.
There we go. That's it. And I think you shook it up a little bit. We'll release it at the end of the podcast, but that's looking pretty good.
Hot dog, man. Let's go.
There we go. Yeah, that kind of messed me up a little bit because for the past few episodes we've been using the same questions
Yeah.
and we just happened to change them up this go around. So I've been used to turning and burning on certain questions and
Very nice.
kind of getting tongue twisted with it there for a minute. But you did good, man. I think you'll be happy with your time. So
Yep.
sweet, man. So getting right into it, what we like to do is focus on your bio, why you choose upland game, and why you continue to stick with it and support it for generations to come. So we're gonna really focus on your bio and kind of ask questions going off of that. So,
Yeah, for
kind of
sure.
just going right off the get-go. Like, where did it all begin for you?
Man, so we would always do hunts, with other outfitters, other guide services, and it seems like, especially here in Texas, you can throw a rock and hit 50 guides, right? And so my dad and I, we go dove hunting, we go quail hunting, and man, we just have started having a lot of kind of bad experiences with guides. That you go to a dove field, they drop you, take your money, good luck, and you might see a dang hawk, and that was it. And it's like, they wouldn't tell you that they had overhunted it or there weren't any birds. They just got to taking your money, and not all of them, but it seems like these younger guys that were coming up, they just take your money. So I told my wife one time I got home after a bad hunt, and I was like, man, I can do that. Like, I'm a real good people person. I mean, I can talk. They say I could sell ice to an Eskimo. I've always heard that. So I came home and my I said I want something that sticks out, a name that means something to me. Some people just draw something out of a hat and they're like, Shark Outfitters. I was like, man, I don't want anything like that. Give me something that means something. And so my daughter's middle name is Joe, and my son's middle name is Creed, and I just put outdoors on it and started Jo Kreed Outdoors. So that's kind of where the name came from on that aspect of it. So we did all the LLC stuff, created all that, and then man, I started posting hunts, and it kind of took off on me. I was like, "Daggone, man, I didn't realize it was going to be this good." I mean, it's a blessing, right? I mean, you want to be
Right.
successful in your first year, but man, I was posting hunts, and then as soon as I got kind of discouraged, nobody, I was getting calls, but nobody was really booking. And then, dude, you know how that is. A month before the season starts, oh my dude, I couldn't answer the phone fast enough. I mean, it was awesome. So that we had a really good first year. We got lucky with the dove, that we didn't get a whole lot of water. And so if you had water where I was at hunting out in Andrews, Texas, man, you were king of the castle. And all the places I had, we hunt over water 95% of the time. And I mean, we were hammering them. I had guys tell me, "Oh, you've been doing this forever." I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm one with the birds." But it just we just had a really good year, and we got lucky that first year, and it's been a blessing ever since, man.
No, that's awesome to hear, man. That's being able to take a passion and be able to turn it into something like that. That's a big deal. And you've been going for the past 3 years now, you
Yeah,
said?
3 years. We're starting our fourth year. Just started taking bookings for our fourth year, so
That's
kind of
crazy.
yeah, kind of growing every year. We get bigger and bigger. We started doing quail hunts the second year. Got a good little pack of dogs right now. Had to hire some guides. And it's been really really good. And the guides help me out. I can still go do family stuff, and they can take care of the other stuff on them. But it seems like here, 3 or 4 years from now, I'm really gonna have to make a decision with the job I have and this, and really, I already know what I'm
Which
leaning towards. So
which one there?
yeah.
That's awesome. So what do you do your full-time
Yeah,
career? What are you doing
I'm
right
a
now?
physical therapist assistant up here at the hospital in
Oh,
Andrews. So
nice.
yeah, I've been doing that since 2013, and kind of love it. But I have a good group of guys I work with up there, and they're all a lot older than me, but they're getting ready to retire. So I know I've told my boss up there, I'm like, man, when you leave, I leave, and I think it's a couple years, and it may work out perfectly where I can transition out of that, just go into full time guiding and bird hunting.
Dude, that'd be the setup. That'd be
Be
quite
awesome.
something, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's gonna
Uh,
work as long as everything works out.
oh yeah. I mean, especially with what you're doing. Um, I know you've listened to a few of these, but back in January we did a Texas hog hunt.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw you post
Yeah,
that.
you saw that, yeah, and I get what you're saying with some of those guides.
It's interesting.
It's interesting sometimes. I'm not gonna go off on. I've already gone off on that train wreck, but
Yeah,
and so being able to give people something that you can actually offer,
for
I
sure.
think that's a big deal. That's awesome, man. That's crazy. So what kind of hunts do you? So you got quail, doves.
Yeah, so we started out originally just doing dove hunts. That was kind of our bread and butter. So September 1st opens dove season in Texas, and it goes till about around the 10th of November. And so after that, we kind of shut down after that first year, and I started getting a lot of calls on blue quail hunts, scaled quail. So I kind of did that the first year, and we were just do really, one dog, and we'd run and gun, man. You're driving around, you see him, you get out and bail, and you just take off running after him. We were doing that, and that got real popular with the younger guys. But the older guys I got out there, they're 70 or 80. They're like, there ain't no way we're not running after
Ain't no
them.
way.
Like, you're crazy. So I had to invest in some dogs and got some dogs. On second year, we did the full-time blue quail hunts with the dove, and we did some combo hunts, and then transitioned this third year. We started doing some pen raised hunts where older guys that can't run or can't walk very far or get tired quickly, we do put some pen raised pheasant or chucker out there for them and smash those pretty good. So we don't have too many bob white places, but I'm always up if anybody has a place, holler at me. But we kind of stick with the wing shooting side of things. I don't do duck hunts. We just don't have a lot of water where I'm at. And big game stuff is all, west part of us. So we try to stick to the bird hunting as much as we can.
That's awesome, man. That's you guys have, well, I've only hunted Texas with hogs, but the doves, holy cow, while we were there, oh my gosh. I was like,
Great
dang,
bird numbers, especially in the where we're at. We're in the north zone, so you have north zone, central, and then south zone. Of course, the south zone never. That place has dove year round. If you ever get to go down there, white wing, you'll get tired of shooting. It's so crazy in some places. And then central zone's always pretty good. The north zone where I'm at, you kind of have to move around. You really have to scout. Especially, you get into the middle of the season or late season, middle of October, you really got to do a lot more scouting. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to this water hole and hope they're there, because you may be sorely disappointed. You get there and you see one Eurasian fly by and you're like, all right, that's it.
all right. That's all we're getting today.
Yeah, like, damn, it was nice seeing you,
Oh, that's awesome. So some of the pictures that you sent in are you hunting pheasants.
Yep.
So is that in Texas, or is that
some of that pen race stuff? Yeah, some of that pen race stuff is in Texas. The good pheasant hunting, we don't really have wild. Texas has wild pheasant, but nothing like some of these other states. Back in the day, before they changed how they did like watering crops and stuff, everybody is using a pivot system now for watering. Back in the day, they used to have these giant tailwater pits, how they water, and you could, pheasant were everywhere. Yeah, North Texas area, Friona, Muleshoe, Plainview had a ton, some parts of Lubbock, Silverton, stuff like that. But then they changed how they started watering, and I don't know the actual science behind it, but it seems like everything translated to water practices. When they changed that, the pheasant kind of disappeared from Texas. Now you can still shoot wild pheasant, but nothing like it was back in the heyday. So true pheasant hunting, the closest place to us is either Oklahoma or just popping right over to Kansas, where it's amazing over there.
Yeah, we kind of in the same boat here in Utah. When it comes to pheasant, there, like you said, like we have a wild pheasant population. The majority of that population probably come from pen raised birds that
Yeah.
make it year after year.
Eating and stuff like that, for sure.
Yeah, so I definitely get that part of it. So when it comes to Texas itself, from what I understand, a lot of the state is private land. Is that right?
97% privately owned.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. So
Public. So if you ever look on a map, like on Onyx or something, and you look
yeah,
up public land or where to hunt, dude, the dot, it's like a little red square, that big, and it's public, and it may say 100 acres, or next to a campsite or something that the state manages. It's not a whole lot of public land, so you have to definitely get a lot of permission. Being good with some of these ranches, and especially like since where I'm at, we're big oil field country, Permian Basin area. So a lot of these places you go to, you have to get You have to ask the landman that's doing all the stuff, that's in charge of, ExxonMobil or Key Energy, that's really working this section of land. You got to go to them, get permission from them to hunt. Or some of these landowners, they'll have oil companies on their land and they have the grazing rights and the hunting rights. So then
Hmm.
you got to get with them, and it's always one or two people you got to go through. And some of these people do own that land outright, but they're a lot more. I don't know. They don't like people driving around on their land hunting. They get enough with the oil field traffic, so it's definitely a lot of asking and calling. Cold calling people. I don't know how many times every year I'll call 30 or 40 people, and most of them hang up or tell me
Hmm.
not to say nice words, not to call them back, whatever. And that's fine. You just for every 40 of those you get, you just need one to say yes. And that opens the door pretty fast.
Right. That makes sense. I found that interesting while we were there. I was like, man, I don't know how to hunt here.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
like, I
yeah,
got
these people that post in these forums, like these upland forums, like I'm gonna come hunt wild birds in Texas. I'm like, you better know somebody because I don't know anybody. I mean, or go with an outfitter because there's not a whole lot of public you can go to hunt wild birds. And the public that does have wild birds, as soon as the season opens, it gets overhunted so quick in the first 2 or 3 weeks. There's nothing left.
right. No, that makes sense. So it can make it difficult if you don't know or
Yeah,
have contacts with people.
I gotta get in
So that's
people.
interesting. Do you guys have a walk-in access program at all, or
We some of the public is walk-in access, but it's so small. Maybe 50 acres or 100 acres, and you
really?
can yeah dove and quail on it. But like I said, you like the opening of dove season, you can go to that walk-in stuff, and there'll be 50 cars out there. People have been camping out since 2 a.m. to get to a dove spot, and I mean it sounds like you go 50 acres and you get 40 guys out there. It sounds like you're defending the Alamo. It's freaking crazy. Just shots everywhere. Da 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 da. It's insane.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because after we went, I looked it up just to see how much public land Texas had, and it said roughly around 3%.
Yeah,
And I was like, wow, that's insane. So is most of it like ranchers, oil? I mean, when we were driving through, we drove through Utah, New Mexico, and then came in. And I mean, the windmills. Holy cow!
a lot of windmills. Yeah, they're getting a hold.
Yeah,
They're getting a hold of these ranchers and setting up these windmills. And the ranchers, of course, are just getting paid.
right,
That's
right.
hard to pass up that money. So, it for dove and quail. I don't think. I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I don't think it affects them that much putting a windmill in. Now, if you have mule deer or whitetail on your property, who knows? I don't really know the effects of that, especially on a high fence. If they're in 6,000 acres,
Right.
it's not going to do too much. But you get a low fence, big low fence property, and they're putting in these windmills. I mean, who knows what it's doing to the wildlife?
Yeah, that's true. So where you're at, what's the terrain like that you're hunting in? 'Cause I know it's
So
like very where you're like Texas. I mean, it's huge.
yeah,
So.
yeah. So we have mesquite bushes everywhere, man. Everywhere I hunt is heavy, heavy mesquites, cat claw. Especially if we get a rain, that blue stem grass shoots up crazy. Um, and it depends. Like out here in the oilfield country, a bunch of the roads are maintained pretty good. Some of them are maintained pretty good. Some of them aren't. Kind of just depends on the land and the rancher. Some of those ranchers get on these guys pretty good to maintain stuff. But especially for blue quail, it makes it a lot easier hunting when roads and paths are maintained pretty good because you can drop dogs. You know, walk a few acres or a couple hundred, whatever you're doing, and if you don't see anything, you can get back in the truck and drive a nice clean road to a different section. So it's very thick. We hadn't had any rain this year, so who knows what it's going to be out on the landscape this year. But last year, we got quite a bit of rain, and I had grass. It's pretty wild. I'm 7 foot tall, even, and it was up to my knees in some spots. And I know some of the guys I hunt with aren't that tall, and they were like, it's like going through the Amazon with them.
Wow, that is crazy,
Yeah,
man.
it was pretty crazy in some places, and in some places we're bare, but it's just mainly where I do most of my blue quail hunting. It was thick.
Huh. Okay, that makes sense. I remember kind of getting into the mesquite
Yeah,
a
it's
little bit while
all.
we were there. It's
Oh,
a different
yeah.
game.
Yeah, I always find it funny these guys that come hunt and they get out of their car wearing hey dudes. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a long day for you.
Not gonna happen.
I haven't. Yeah, we ain't in South Texas where you can wear shorts and a tank top,
It'll,
man. You know,
it'll tear you up.
oh, it will, man.
So growing up, what was hunting like as you were growing up coming into it?
Yeah,
Was
so pretty
yeah.
wild. I talk about this with my wife quite a bit. You know, I did more hog hunting than anything. You know, I didn't. I don't think I shot a bird till I was in college.
Nice.
Um, yeah, didn't know really anything about the upland side of things. Didn't I couldn't have told you what a quail was in college, man. If you put one in front of me, I'd be like, shoot, I don't know, some kind of sparrow. You know, I had no idea. So did a bunch of hog hunting with my dad. That's kind of what we stayed with. Went on a couple turkey hunts, and then got to college, played some basketball, and then got out of college, married my wife, and I had a buddy here who was super into everything. He hunted anything that moved, and he asked me to go on a dove hunt one time with him, and I went there, and he gave me this automatic 12 gauge, and the limit in Texas is 15 birds, per day,
Uh-huh.
and I bet I shot 200 shells and got 8 birds, just shooting anything that if it flies, it dies, I was shooting everything.
Right.
Yeah. And after that, I was pretty much hooked, and kind of it's like when you play golf the first time, you create a monster, and I was buying dove decoys and looking up sunflower fields and anything for dove hunting related. I was like, oh, I'm all about it, man.
That's awesome.
All right, everyone. Quick shout out to our friends at Pet Commute. If you ever tried coordinating dog transport yourself, you know it's not simple. Whether it's a new pup coming home, a finished dog heading to a buyer, a field trial trip, or even, let's be honest, your wife needing her little mutt transported safely, Pet Commute handles it professionally. Rachel and I have personally transported with them, and I can confidently say they are reliable, safe, punctual, and they keep owners updated the entire trip. They offer free quotes, and if you mention Bird Camp Radio, you'll get 10% off your pet's travel. Hit the link in the show notes, comments, or our socials.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't think there's anything that tastes better than Dove, and that's just me personally. Like, out of all, I love all the upland game birds, but it's hard to beat
But
Dove for
yeah,
me.
dove. I mean, everybody likes the go-to dove poppers. I mean, that's always popular. You can chicken fry them. That's just a lot of work. Beating the tar out of them for an hour for a little quarter size deal. But people do it, man. It's crazy. I've heard some people do some crazy stuff with it. They start getting gourmet with it.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
crazy. So I mean, you've mentioned before, um, the dog aspect of it. So with your company, do you provide the dogs as well, and people can bring their dogs too, or how's that working?
I always say if you got dogs, more dog power we have, the better.
Awesome.
Obviously, want them semi-trained. I don't want you to bring a new dog, brand new. But if they got some training behind them and you want to run them, I'm good with that. So right now, currently, I have three. I have a black lab, I have a pointer, and I have a setter. So kind of mixture, kind of see what works for me. I think I'm always going to have a lab just because they're so versatile. I mean, she's only 2, she'll be 3 this next year. She's a machine. I mean, I can if I was hunting by myself, I could take her out in a pheasant and quail field and be perfectly fine. It's crazy what a lab can do. And then my pointer, obviously he's a little younger, but he's got so much energy. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I'll have another German short-haired pointer after him. He is crazy, dude. In a good way, but he's so much more energetic than anybody else. And then my setter, this will be her first year, so I'm excited to see what she can do. But I get guys out here that they'll bring a string. They'll bring 10, 12, 14 dogs, and it helps me out. I get to still guide them, show them the spots. They'll get out there and work the dogs, and it gives my dogs a break. But some of these rigs these guys show up in, and the dog power they have, I mean, I feel bad when I have to go get shots at the vet or buy dog food. I'm all complaining, and I'm like, I have no room with 14 dogs and a trailer, and you know they're they're buying $2,000 worth of dog food a week or something. Oh my gosh, dang! But you should see some of these dogs these guys bring. I mean, they're such powerhouses. You know, they're bred with these field dogs that are AKC registered, and they got all these field trial champions, and it's just crazy to see. You know, if you got a good dog and then you have a really good dog, just a little bit of difference in them when they're running. You know, these a good dog, you know, they'll put a point down, and you're like, all right, that bird may flush 5 feet from you, 10 feet from you, and you know those field trial dogs, it's a foot from them, you know, and they're holding for 30 minutes, you know they have such a good range, you know, they're ranging out there 700 yards, 800 yards, 500 yards, and you know I don't have anything like that, you know. My dogs are 100-yard dogs, 150-yard dogs at the most, and you know it takes some of these guys, especially these older gentlemen, a little bit longer to get down to where their dog is 700 yards away, and they'll hold it 20 minutes. And that pheasant's right there, or that quail's right there, or that chucker, and I'm blown away by that.
It's insane. It's
Yeah,
crazy what some of those guys have out there.
oh gosh, just and then and these, you know, I get home and then I start googling new dogs, and I'm like, oh, my wife will have a cow if I bring another dog home right now, you know.
Oh yeah. See, I grew up with Labradors, and I mean, like you said, it's really hard to go wrong with a Labrador. I mean, where we're at, we have a migratory bird refuge near us, so really rural area. So a lot of guys around where we're at do a lot of waterfowl
Oh,
hunting, but so I grew up doing a little bit of both, and my dad always had Labradors. That's what we grew up with, and I mean they're so versatile in both aspects that it's hard to go wrong, especially around here. And then the GSPs, a lot of guys have them around here, man,
yeah,
with the chucker hunting, and I mean I don't know if I'll ever personally own one. I'm really going towards the setter
yeah,
world. And I've gotten really sold on that
for sure.
aspect of it. I really enjoy those setters, but
Yeah,
man, those GSPs,
boy, he could run. I mean,
they got some run.
I will say this: if I ever get to a point where I haven't had too many hunts like this, but you know, you get a group that wants to hunt 3 or 4 days hard, you know, from sun up to sundown. I always know that I'm gonna have one dog that can do it, right? Like
Right.
he's always gonna be, you know, he may get home and pass out for 6 hours, but I know when that collar comes out the next morning, it don't matter, he's ready to roll. You know, where, you know, if I hunt my lab 3 days, I got to give her a week off. You know,
Yeah.
she's toast, dude. You know, and you know, being young as she is, you know, she's two, but you're hunting 10, 12 hour days, and heat, especially in Texas, you know, you may be hunting quail in December and it's 96 degrees, you know. It's not like you're hunting quail in Kansas or anything where it's 40 and they can regulate their temperature a little bit better. But
Yeah.
and so, and that setter I just picked up, you know, I got him out of a guy out of New Mexico. His name's Tyler Sladen.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a dude. He's got some machines as setters, and I just picked up a puppy from him, and I think she's going to be a freaking beast. So I'm excited to pair her with my pointer and see what happens there.
he does the Hawks too, doesn't he?
Oh,
He's
dude,
the
he does some
Falcon.
cool stuff that he does.
That's cool, man. That's cool that you got his out of
Yeah,
his dogs.
yeah, it was
That's
wild.
pretty
I was
sweet.
waiting. You know, I had put a deposit down for a dog, and I was probably annoying him a bunch, but I kept texting him or messaging him, "Hey, is that dog? You know, did she get pregnant? Did she take? Did she take?" He's like, "No, she didn't." And I was getting a little worried, and then he called me and said someone backed out of a previous litter. Dude, I didn't even let him finish his sentence. I was like,
Like,
"Come on, I'll Venmo you now." So it
I got it right now. We're set.
worked out. So yeah, shout out to him. He's a great guy and breeds some fantastic looking dogs. So I'm excited to see what she turns into.
Yeah, I'm excited for you, man. You'll have to keep us posted on how that goes, because that'll be a fun
Yeah.
journey.
Especially when you know you see like a good breeder and what his dogs are capable of, you know you're getting something special for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. So did you grow up with dogs
Yeah, so we
when you were
had
younger?
not so much hunting dogs. Always had dogs ranging from blue heelers to, Siberian Huskies. I just, funny story is I got that dog from Tyler Sladen, and then 2 weeks before that, I bought my wife two Dalmatian puppies. And I told her like a week after, I said, "Hey, man, you look really pretty today, but I got this dog. We gotta go get in a week." She about fainted, dude. It was like three puppies, and oh my gosh, it's been crazy wild ride the last month and a half here.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be. Hey, I mean that's fun. I mean, at least she's got hers. I mean, it's
for
gotta be
sure.
somewhat well balanced there.
Yeah, double whammy. I get away with it a little
Double
bit.
whammy.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So I'm just curious for the listeners, if anybody's wanting to hunt with you, where can they find you and your guiding services?
Yeah, so I'm on Google. You can just type in Jo Kreed Outdoors. I got a web page that'll pull up pretty easy. I'm on all major socials anyway. Instagram, personal page on there too. Facebook, just Jo Kreed Outdoors, and it should pull up everything. Of course, you can message on there. I have a contact form you can do as well. That's pretty easy, and it sends it straight to me. And I'm usually good about replying, unless anniversary or something. Give me a day. But other than that, I'm usually pretty good. I try to get back to you, and prices and all the details are on there, which is pretty good. I try to be up front and not get you at the end like, "Oh, you owe me 2 grand." I do tell you, I'll leave. So, but yeah, it's everything's on socials and website.
Hey, there we go. So now everybody knows where they can find you. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Travis or you can reach out to me. And all this, we'll make sure to put all this in the bio of the podcast episode so people can find the links and stuff too. So that'll be
Absolutely,
good.
absolutely.
That'll be good. No, that's awesome, man. So with seasons, I mean, I don't know, do you have any seasons going on right now?
So nothing going on
Nothing
around
right now.
birds. Yeah. So the first next season will be dove. November 1st. It's November 1st. Sorry, September 1st opens dove season. Goes about till November, and then quail season opens up November 1st, and it goes to the end of February.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you get a pretty long quail season, which is good. Especially last year with the birds were amazing last year. Best season I've ever had personally, and we've only been in business. This will be our fourth year, but I mean, we got so blessed with blue quail last year. It was crazy. I mean, we were bumping. For the true quail hunters that got out and just wanted to walk the whole time and not ride around and look for coveys or anything. We were bumping anywhere from 12 to 15 coveys a day, and these were averaging 30 to 50 birds in some of these coveys. I mean, it was insane. And then every now and then you'd get, a unicorn, and you'd have two or three coveys come up as one, and it was like, dude, oh my gosh, it was like the end of days locusts is coming out of the ground, hundreds of them. And it was always funny because these guys would shoot, and they wouldn't get one bird out of that covey, and I just put my head down like, holy moly, how'd that happen? You know. But it was a sight to see. Every now and then, that would happen. It was crazy watching those birds get up. And where I'm at in Andrews, we don't have a whole lot of bobwhite quail. There are pockets that hold them for sure. And everybody, I've only been in Andrews, Texas since 2013. They told me back in the day, everybody I've talked to around here, that the bobwhites used to be crazy around here. And of course, like with anything, drought happens. Fire ants, especially with quail, killed a bunch of it off. But we managed to, I mean, nothing crazy, but I think we shot 25, 30 bobwhites this year, which first time that's ever happened with me here in Andrews. And when they shoot a bobwhite, it gets pretty exciting. We see a covey of bobwhites and they shoot, and we get one or two. We try to leave them alone after that. You want them to breed, and you don't want to decimate the population. But it's pretty wild getting to see some bobwhites here where I'm at. So that's been pretty good. And then, of course, I've got guys in Kansas I kind of partner with for pheasant hunts. So if people want that, I can recommend that. But I got some guys that do that. And of course, buying dogs and buying birds, people are always like, where can I get my own birds? I mean, I've got quite a few contacts if anybody's interested in that for sure, man.
Oh, that's good to hear. I bet you'll hear from somebody.
Oh, I'm sure. And this stuff is always good. You get in some you get blessed enough to get in some magazines and talk to guys like you, it really starts opening doors for some of the smaller guys for sure.
No, that's awesome, man. I mean, you're out there doing some big things, and I'm excited to see where it goes for you and
Absolutely,
take
man.
a hobby like that and make it a living. I mean, heck, it's hard to beat that, not having to go to work every day.
It is, man. Working for yourself, that's the dream. And I think, as long as we keep growing and keep doing things right and how it's supposed to be done, and I think it's going to work out in the end where I can transition out of that and, my full-time job and do this and I mean, get to wake up every day and chase birds or put clients on birds or, you know, especially, in the off season, just really getting to do what you want, hang with your family, hang with your kids, do whatever you want, man.
Heck yeah, and that's what I was going to ask. So with it being, I mean, bird season's over. Uh, for us here, I mean, we're doing a lot of fly fishing when we can, and then turkey hunt starts,
Yeah.
I believe, next week for us.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's kind of the things we're doing.
we're right in the middle of turkey season right here.
Are
So
you?
yeah, it opened up sometime in April. I think beginning of April. I gotta look at the dates, but my dad and I just got back from a place here close by us about a week and a half ago. We got two toms pretty quick, so that was
Hey,
good.
there we go.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, we've got really nothing else planned. School's winding down for the kids, so I'll just start running the tar out of the dogs, getting them conditioned, and start preparing for next year. I'm already, like I said, you get a magazine article in, everybody and their mama likes to book 5 months in advance, especially those older guys, man. It's like eating at 5 o'clock senior citizen time. They like to get their reservation at 5 months before. So it's good stuff.
No, that's awesome, man. Being able to, I mean, that's the good part of it with where you're at, being able to have some time to spend with the family before it gets too busy, be able to enjoy some life and
Oh yeah, for sure.
dig right into it.
Yeah, that September 1st hits, man. It's a crazy time, with especially people that out there that have kids and stuff. They know you're following them, and then trying to do hunts and everything. It's just, boy, you get to December and it's, man, I just want to sleep for 2 weeks.
I get that. Hey man, well, this has been a lot of fun being able to bring you onto the podcast, get to know you a little bit and what you're doing in your company. And now everybody knows where they can find you. And like I
Sure.
said, if you guys have any questions, please reach out to either one of us and we'll get you in contact. If you have anybody who's wanting to get out to Texas and do some hunts, definitely hit Travis up for that. But before we close, and you probably already know this, I like to ask one last question before we end. And what kind of advice would you give to new uplanders or uplanders that have been in the tradition?
Yeah, especially new uplanders. I see a lot of these guys when we hunt public land in Kansas, man. They see all this stuff on social media. People getting limits, shooting birds. Their first section I walked or first, you know, property I watched, we limited out. Don't get so discouraged if you don't get a bird the first time you go out hunting. It's more about the experience, watching dogs work. You know, shooting the crap with your friends. Making fun of them for missing stuff like that. Man, I know a bunch of these guys I see. They get out there and they come with such high expectations, which is good. You want to be excited to get out there, but don't get so discouraged if your first two or three spots don't work or you have a bad trip. It's definitely not the end of the world. There's so much public land out there, and there's so many opportunities to go shoot pin raised birds, wild birds, whatever you want to do. I just see people. I had a bad experience. I'm hanging it up. And it's just have an open mind when you go that it's not always going to be. You're done in 20 minutes and you got 3 pheasant in the bag or you got 15 quail in the bag. And that's what I try to tell people, especially on the guiding side, is they come to me and I said, I'm always up front. If I could control the weather and the birds, I'd be a rich man. And that's just not always the case. We fight the weather and we fight the birds. We do our best to scout. But I think truly the new hunters, if you just be patient, you're going to get some birds if you're doing everything you're supposed to do right. And then, of course, the seasoned hunters, I mean, they know what they need to do. You get out there, you scout. marked properties. But I think more now than ever, we have all this talk and all these bills passed about conservation. People building data centers and AI centers, and I think more now than ever, whether you know what they're talking about or not, just have some input in that. With whoever you're around, your Senate leaders, your people in town, stuff like that. Just have a word or get out there and vote, because we're losing stuff every day, and that's going to stink for some of the people that truly love to go up into Utah, Wyoming, New Mexico, some of these great places that has all this public access. It's definitely under attack. I mean, I'm definitely not the one to talk to about that, but I see all this stuff, I read all this stuff, and it's a very scary time for just public land hunting in general, I think.
Yeah, I I don't think there's anybody that would disagree with you who is in the hunting realm, because I mean, we've definitely seen that here in Utah. Our senator being the
For sure.
front runner of a public land dispute, and it's so important. Like you said, I mean, there for a while, I mean, it was spending every single day on the phone on the senators, just calling. I mean, that's the thing. We can't just be citizens. We got to be able to. They work for us at the end of the day,
I do.
so we got to put in our voice. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't go our way, at least you gave
Yeah,
your 2 cents on the subject, And
for
I,
sure.
I couldn't say it better myself, honestly. I mean, go out there, patience, experience. I mean, that's why we do it. I mean, it's a
Just
lot of
make
fun. I mean,
memories, man. Making memories.
yeah,
I mean, I would love to grow up or as I get older, I want to be 90 years old and be able to talk about 400 stories I had with my buddies. Whether it was we got limits or whether somebody got shot in the leg, something like that. I want to have those memories. I want to have those stories to tell. I don't want to grow up or get older and not have the memories.
right, right.
Yeah,
I think it's so much fun being able to swap stories. I mean,
absolutely.
most of the time, sitting at the dinner table, there's a fishing story or a hunting story
Oh,
coming
for
up,
sure.
and it opens up a whole
Yeah,
whole new thing.
and no one cares if they've heard it before.
Nope,
Some
nope.
of the best stories I hear twice a year, and I know what it's coming. I know every detail of it, but I love hearing it, and I laugh my butt off every time.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. At the end of the day, if it's a good hunt, bad hunt, it's hard to have a bad hunt in my opinion, because I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, it may be tough, but like you said, when it comes to telling the story, I mean, you have a good time.
Oh, there's always something that happens that makes it memorable. Whether
Oh yeah, I
good
think
or
the
bad.
bad stories are better than the good stories
Oh yeah,
sometimes.
they are every time, dude.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on and telling us more about you and giving us your advice on the subject of that. I mean, there's a lot of important things that we need to be able to protect and be able to remember as well, like you're saying. So,
Yeah,
thank you again for coming on and sharing some of your time.
yeah, I appreciate you having me, man, and yeah, good luck with your stuff, man. The podcast stuff's taking off. Like you said, I'm excited to see where your stuff goes too, man.
Well, thank you, man. Keep us posted on you.
All right, will do, bud.
Thank you again, everyone, for listening to the Bird Camp Radio podcast. I hope you enjoyed episode 29 with Travis Spring. Travis, before we end this, we need to release your time for the rapid fire around the campfire game. Travis, your time was 33.79, mixing it up a little bit, putting you in second place. So our new leaderboard leaders are: in first place, Emmanuel Rose at 31.59 seconds. Travis, you at 33.79. And Tanner Cruson at 35.52. Thank you again, everyone, for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. As you know, you can find us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and now, don't forget, you can watch this episode and some of the other episodes on YouTube. We have every single episode uploaded, but now you're able to see us and each one of the guests and be able to have that interaction with us. So that makes it a little exciting. So thank you again, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
You've been listening to Bird Camp Radio, where the high pines, marsh valleys, sagebrush seas, and shelf rock ledges always call us back. Until next time, keep your dogs close, your shot true, and your campfire stories ready to share. We'll see you back at camp. Don't miss out on the next episode, where we'll host our next guest on the podcast. You don't want to miss this one. Thank you.